Globally, food waste presents one of the most pressing environmental issues. According to a study done by Yale Climate Connections, each year, a third of all food produced around the world never makes it to anyone's plate. Food waste was around long before COVID-19 hit, but the pandemic has presented new challenges related to supply chain management. As restaurants struggle to accommodate COVID dining restrictions, many have ended up with excess ingredients at the end of the day. Grocery stores are also struggling to match supply with demand, attempting to juggle their own set of COVID restrictions while keeping perishables like fresh fruit and vegetables from going to waste. According to the New York Times, during COVID-19, many farms in the U.S. have had to destroy millions of pounds of fresh food they could no longer sell. In the following clip, a dairy farmer has to throw out thousands of gallons of milk due to collection issues stemming from the pandemic.
So in 3 generations, we've never had to do this before, tipping away the whole tank of milk because it won't be collected today.
Food waste is also an issue in Malaysia, and the next clip shows how detrimental household food waste can be on the environment.
In Malaysia, kitchen waste takes up 45% of the total amount of garbage. Therefore, volunteers are asking the public to cut down on food waste.
Kenapa? Supaya kita mengelakkan sisa-sisa makanan ni dihantar ke tapak pelupusan.
We advocate the public to reduce the amount of kitchen waste because when delivered to the landfill, kitchen waste pollutes the environment, emanating carbon dioxide. So we have a responsibility to cut down on kitchen waste and protect the environment. I hope people will cherish food and finish their food instead of discarding it. Plan the amount of food you want to buy.
As you can see from these clips, food waste during COVID-19 is a global issue. Let's hear from some students at the International Islamic University of Malaysia and Shenandoah University about some ways they found local businesses in their own home countries are finding global solutions towards repurposing food during the pandemic.
According to Sun Daily, in 2014, with a 30 million population, Malaysia produced almost 8,000 tons of food waste per day. Then, the Star reported that this number increased to a whopping 760% from 2011 due to changes in eating habits, and the improvement of living standards gave the power to expand on food than before. The worst part of all this is that the fact that 90% of it is biodegradable. I asked a few Malaysia stores in local Malaysia groceries, 99 Speedmart and My News, what do they do with their food waste? And they said that it's usual for these type of businesses, they would send most of their food waste back to their own original distributor. An example of this would be if they had an expired box of Captain Munch, instead of donating it or throwing it in the trash, they'll send it back to the Captain Munch company to handle its food waste. But now, in 2020, the Malay Mail reports that due to MCO, Movement Control Order or Quarantine, SWC Corp Malaysia, which stands for Solid Waste and Public Management Corporation, reported that the food waste generated daily in Kuala Lumpur average is 2.1 tons, and in April, this number went down to 1.7 tons a day, reflecting a 0.3 ton reduction in food waste daily. This lower number may reflect the public's panic buying of bread, rice, eggs, mineral water, and other essential items that flew off the shelves at grocery store and supermarkets when the government announced the Movement Control Order MCO in March.
Grocery stores have been a part of the Feeding the Hungry initiative for years, partnering with organizations like Feeding America, who attempt to recover billions of pounds of food that would otherwise go to waste. Amidst the pandemic, a lot of grocery stores have changed policies to reduce food waste and dedicate monetary resources to aid in feeding the hungry. Walmart, for example, committed $10 million to their Fight Hunger Spark Change campaign that would go to food banks and school and senior meal programs. Another grocery store, Publix, found another way to combat food waste during the COVID-19 pandemic. They're buying produce and milk that would otherwise go to waste from local farmers and then donating that to their local food banks that are sponsored by Feeding America. This can be an example for other stores that could possibly be implemented in order to rescue food for in the future.
In Malaysia, there are 5 ways were taken by restaurants to repurposing food in pandemic COVID-19. First, restaurants we recycle or reuse the surplus food to be the ingredient to make new milk, such as using the fried chicken to be the seasoning making of fried rice. Second, make set of milk, like combining surplus food and other milk to be in one set and sell to customer. Third, making donation, like packaging all surplus food in the restaurant and donate to random people. Fourth, call the farmer to take the surplus food in the restaurant, because the farmer will use the surplus food to make the organic fertilizer in their farming process. The last one is called the non-government organization like Food Aid Foundation, because in Malaysia, Food Aid Foundation is the organization to take all surplus food and donate to the needy or homeless people.
In Malaysia, statistics recorded 80% of food waste generated during pandemic is contributed by the unused parts of fruits and vegetables in food preparation, while the other 20% is contributed by leftover foods generated by the consumers. According to Solid Waste Public Cleansing Management Corporation (SW Corp Malaysia), during March, including the period before MCO was enforced on March 18, 2020, food waste generated daily in Kuala Lumpur averaged 2.1 tons. In April, it went down to 1.7 tons a day, resulting in 0.3 reduction of food wasted daily. The reason of the decrement is because most restaurant catering takeaways and home deliveries, plus their shorter operating hours and cancellation of all wedding events and other events.
Resilient communities and resourceful companies and restaurants in both the US and Malaysia have been working hard to repurpose food waste into economic solutions. As our countries transition out of lockdowns and quarantines, we must take the lessons we have learned about food repurposing during the time of COVID-19 and apply them towards a more sustainable and environmentally responsible global future.